Folks, NHL Watcher tweeted this out 23 minutes ago, and I wanted to introduce this video topic by talking about the tweet. A Florida-based team has made the Stanley Cup Finals in 5 straight seasons. Will this year be a 6th straight? I'm going to take my sweet freaking time, and I am going to vote yes! Oh my gosh, yes! Are you kidding me? Florida already made the trade for Seth Jones. Okay, great. They traded away Spencer Knight. Then they traded away a bottom 6 AHLer for a backup goalie in Vitek Vanacek. I know his numbers have been terrible this season, but he plays for freaking San Jose. Or now he plays for Florida. So expect an increase in numbers from that Vitek Vanacek. However, we have ourselves another trade. Take a look at this. The Tampa Bay Lightning have gotten involved on the action here, making a huge, slobber-knocking, spit-swapping trade with the Seattle Kraken. The Tampa Bay Lightning have reacquired forward Yanni Gourde, as well as acquired Oliver Bjorkstrand and a 2026 fifth-round pick in exchange for Tampa's own first in 2026, their first in 2027, a second from Toronto in 2025, and forward Mikey Eyssimont. Tampa Bay's next first-round pick is in 2028. Oy, 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 imagine not having a first-round pick in 2025, 2026, 2027, and look, they're still being seen by some as a team that quote-unquote won the trade. I had to stretch out the one because it's not necessarily like, oh, they won the trade in that they got more value for what they gave up. I honestly think this package is really fantastic for the Seattle Kraken. I mean, even the top 2 tweets, I mean, Tampa Bay got fleeced. 2 first-rounders. I read that right, didn't I? That's the thing. The Seattle Kraken are getting an absolute haul. 2 first-round picks for Yanni Gourde, Bjorkstrand, and a 5th. But it's Tampa. Tampa Bay doesn't care about a 2026 first-round pick. They don't care about a 2027 first-round pick. If they win the Cup this year, and they win what is going to be, their 3rd Cup in 6 seasons, if they get another Cup, they don't care about any of these picks. They didn't care about the picks last time when they traded for Barclay Goodrow. I mean, they have made some pretty big swings that have been questionable at best. The Tanner Jeannot trade didn't really work out in their favor, I would say. So far, at least, they gave up a haul for that guy. Barclay Goodrow was another pick where they gave up some assets, they got the guy, they won the Cup, so it doesn't really matter that they did end up paying more than what they acquired. And the same thing could be applied here. 2 firsts, a second, and Eyssimont for 2 contracts that are on their way out. Yanni Gourde, his contract expires at the end of this season, making $5.1 million a year. Meanwhile, Oliver Bjorkstrand, his contract expires next season, making $5.4 million a year. It doesn't look like there's any salary retained based off of the Frank Seravalli tweet, but then again, we all know that Frank Seravalli, these tweets that he makes usually are like not 100% right. There are usually like some extra things thrown in there afterwards that he doesn't bother to correct because Seravalli cares a lot more about being first rather than getting it right. But, you know, I can't really harp on the guy too much because I'm kind of the same way, not gonna lie, in some capacity at least. At least we're building our video off of this trade idea and this trade tweet right here. But Yanni Gourde this season, of course, he's a former Tampa Bay Lightning. He had some pretty good years with the Bolts. 64 points in 82 games played in his career-high season. That was a crazy good year for Yanni Gourde. I mean, how long ago was that? That was 7 years ago. He was 26 years old. Pretty good, honestly. I mean, Yanni Gourde's 33. That's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. I mean, I've always kind of thought of him as a younger guy, but mid-20s guy doing his thing in Syracuse and eventually Tampa Bay. He maxed out with the Lightning with that 64-point campaign. Then he won 2 cups in 2020 and 2021 with the Lightning before heading over to Seattle, becoming a 48-point in 74-game guy. He also was a point per game for the Kraken in their 2023 playoff run, where they were really good. They knocked out the Colorado Avalanche in the first round, etc., etc. This season, Gourde has 17 points in 36 games played, on pace for 26 points in 56. He did miss a good chunk of time this season. The point production is not terrible. It has been better in the past, but heading over to an organization that he is familiar with, that he knows like the back of his hand, that he was developed in, and that he was signed by initially. Remember, Yanni Gourde is undrafted. He was never taken in the NHL draft. He was just signed out of free agency to play for the Tampa Bay farm system. So him heading over to Tampa, super good pickup for them because they're familiar with him. Oliver Bjorkstrand, 29 years old, so a lot younger than Yanni Gourde at this point. Bjorkstrand was all over the place too, from the Columbus system to the Lake Erie Monsters to Columbus to Cleveland, so he was all over the place in the AHL developing with CBJ. Eventually, he maxed out as a 59-point player with the Seattle Kraken last year. This season, Bjorkstrand is on pace for 49 points in 81 games played. He currently has 37 points. So heading over to Tampa Bay, I mean, Yanni Gourde, he's playing a little bit worse than Bjorkstrand this season. You could say he's maybe a middle to bottom 6 caliber player this year. Oliver Bjorkstrand's a middle 6 guy. You could maybe even debate top 6. In Tampa, maybe not top 6, but still, Bjorkstrand and Gourde heading over to the Tampa Bay Lightning. My gosh, the Kraken just helped out Tampa tenfold. If I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, I am chilling in my seat, just biting my nails at the thought of Florida acquiring a backup goalie in Vanacek and Seth Jones, and the Tampa Bay Lightning getting Gourde and Bjorkstrand. Now, sure, they gave up some assets too, multiple firsts, a second, and Mikey Eyssimont, but at the end of the day, this is a trade that significantly improves the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I don't think we could go out there and dismiss that. Mikey Eyssimont, just in case he needed the scoop here, heading over to the Seattle Kraken. He's a 28-year-old guy, 6 feet, 190. His contract expires at the end of this season, making $800,000. And this season he had 10 points in 57 games played. Definitely not a guy whose profile stands out in the same way that a Bjorkstrand or a Yanni Gourde does, but the Lightning needed to include some players to go over into this trade just to balance everything out. I mean, let's go out there and talk about some of the replies. We were speaking about this earlier. Yeah, Tampa Bay got fleeced. Yanni Gourde and Bjorkstrand for 2 firsts? I heard the same thing after the Brendan Hagel trade. Tampa can't draft in the first round for crap anyway, so not really. That second is more damaging, to be honest. And this, of course, is the sentiment that you'll see from both sides. Tampa Bay fans are happy because they got some really good, talented players that can help them out right now, and they gave up, really, none of their top prospects to do it. And for Seattle, more draft picks, the better. They were probably going to lose out on Yanni Gourde anyway. Bjorkstrand going over does kind of sting, especially when you consider how effective he has been. But then again, if the Seattle Kraken are in this sort of retooling phase, they're going to get rid of Brandon Tanev, they're going to trade away Jared McCann, they can afford to lose out on these guys, tank to the bottom, and try to grab themselves whichever first overall pick is going to go first overall this year. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Tampa Bay Lightning locking up and loading up with Yanni Gourde and Oliver Bjorkstrand. What are your thoughts on this trade getting done, and the fact that they paid a huge price in the form of 2 firsts, a second, and Mikey Eyssimont to the Seattle Kraken to get this done? Let me know in the comments, what do you think? I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.